A very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us on the midweek edition of the show. Promises to be exciting as always. I'm Yemi Adebayo.
And I'm Cecilia Omogbe. This morning we're starting with the Caf Confederations Cup. Aimba, they are in action today against Ali Benghazi, and for them, they said they're ready for battle in Aba.
All right, so the battle ready. We'll see what's going to happen when both sides meet in the Caf Confederation Cup. All right, let's go on and talk about this one. Not many of us saw this happening, even when the results, even when they went into extra time, a lot of people still felt the old lady will do the job. But news is that Juventus has crashed out after losing on aggregate to Portuguese giant FC Porto, and that's the story. And I'm going to see Cristiano Ronaldo this season again, probably next season. If they win the Scudetto, who knows? But as it stands, Juventus knocked out of the UEFA Champions League by FC Porto.
What's going to happen to Andre Pirlo? Well, we'll find out if he will still keep his job after crashing out in round of 16. Also on the program, Barcelona are ready for Mission Impossible tonight at Parc des Princes because they will be facing PSG. The first leg ended 4-1 at Camp Nou.
Mission Impossible indeed. 4 unreplied goals needed. They've done it before. That's at Camp Nou. But now they have to do it in France. Can it be done? Yes. Will they do it? That's the question.
Okay.
That is the question. And that's how we start the show today. We'll go to football later on, but we want to start with tennis. Cecilia, there's Qatar, there's Marseille.
All right, let's come home and talking about Real Madrid Academy that was open in Port Harcourt. I mean, it was a whole lot of, the classrooms, blocks, and some of the buildings that were added to the academy.
State-of-the-art facilities.
It's been there for a while, but then it's now more like you have more, how do I put it now? You have more facilities, being added to it. And of course, it's all about you having a situation whereby you're not just having these kids coming to the academy, but also you will have to go to school alongside it. And that's why those classrooms and some others facilities were actually added to it to actually aid them in their development. So more like you're having Nigerian kids now can actually dream of playing for Real Madrid because they've got the facilities on the right thing.
And the governor was quick to remind us that you only have that kind of partnership in 2 places in Africa, one in Morocco and one in Nigeria. The project that started in 2019, now completed. It makes us happy. But let's get to see a report put together on that historic event, the opening of the Real Madrid Academy in Port Harcourt. We enjoyed that. We'll come back for more.
Strategically located near the foremost Yakubu Gowon Stadium in Port Harcourt is the Real Madrid Football Academy, said to be one of Governor Wike's dearest projects in Rivers State. Modeled after the famous Real Madrid Academy in Spain, the Port Harcourt Institute is structured to a hub for grooming of educated sportsmen and women. Former Nigerian footballers extol the leadership style of Governor Wike, especially in the area of sports development.
What is happening, sir, is that we allow our budding talents to get to adulthood before we discover them, by which time they're already set in their ways. And if they've not been doing it right, they cannot do it right anymore. But what you've done now, sir, to catch them young and then take them through this professional tutelage, as I said, in their formative years, is what has been lacking. And that is the biggest achievement of this project, sir. And I salute you once more for it.
For the special guest, the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, the academy is what the nation needs.
When we talk about the 3 I's in sports development, infrastructure, incentive, investment, this academy is one of the things we're talking about, infrastructure. River State is a great place when it comes to sports development, especially with what we're witnessing today. It is a validation to this assertion.
On his part, Governor Wike says the project is very strategic as it is going to impact on the future of many young persons in Rivers State and the nation.
Only two in Africa, Rivers and Morocco, that had the opportunity to have the franchise of Real Madrid. When you have the franchise of Real Madrid, what are you thinking of again? Don't bother about Barcelona, Arsenal, this and that. This is the end of the world.
For now, the school is free to all Rivers State indigenes, who will constitute 70% of its students, while 30% will be open to trainee footballers from other states across the country. And the aim is to nurture them from ages 5 to 17.
Oh, that's it. I wish I could clap my hands, but I can't. But
you love it.
It's something we should applaud.
Yeah.
And we're happy to have something like this, a big franchise like Real Madrid associating with the Rivers State government, and now the fact that it is free. And also in some of the comments that the governor made, which also makes me very happy, he recognizes the fact that sports is big business.
Yeah.
So it's not just the sports minister saying it. If we have the governors like him also knowing that, look, you don't need to be throwing money
into it.
You can actually invest and get the money back.
The returns.
You don't need to throw money and, people can account for what you give them the money to do. I mean, such shouldn't be happening at this time of age.
I mean, you can take it a step further. Fine, we understand infrastructure, which the government is supposed to build, and that's what he's doing, building that infrastructure. Yep. Take it a notch higher. The Port Harcourt Stadium where Rivers United are playing is awful, so they can actually do something to that.
Spread the love.
Spread the love. And also, see how they can maybe privatize some of these clubs so that private investors can also come in and help. Fine, we know what he has done with Rivers Angels. They just got a bus, recently and all that. He's done a whole lot for those clubs and all. But then if you can open it up for private partnership, as he's done with his academy,
public-private partnership.
Is for the indigene of Rivers State is free. 5 to 17 years and all that. But for others coming in, you have to pay. So they are also making money off it. So not just there. And maintenance is also going to be a key factor in it.
And against the backdrop that the government has a lot on their hands.
Yeah.
It is understandable if they can find a way to deal with the essentials and bring in people come
to invest in it.
And I wouldn't say answer off.
No, they
because they still have a supervisory role, but let's see what we can do, put resources together and get the job done.
Which is really key.
I do agree with you. All right, let's talk about the ladies quickly.
Of course.
NWFL Premiership.
Yeah, the games for today, and of course we have one for tomorrow. But then talking about Nigerian Women's Football League Premiership, games for today. If you can see the fixtures quickly, Edo Queens and, of course, FC Robo will be in action today. So FC Robo, remember the last game they played, it was 5-0 against, of course, their neighbors, Dream Star. And that game was a spectacular one, all the goals. Then you also have other games, other clubs in action. Rivers Angels are in Lagos, but then their game will not hold today. Their game is going to be on Thursday. Then you also have other games for today, which is Abia Angels and Delta Queens. Ibom Angels and Confluence Queens will also be in action. You have Oshun Babes and Bayelsa Queens, another game to look forward to today. The Pelican Stars and Nasarawa Amazons is another game we're looking forward to today. And of course, the Royal Queens and Sunshine Stars, Sunshine Queens, another game. Dream Star Ladies and Rivers Angels, that game will be on Thursday. Okay. Now, for the Nigerian Women's League, quickly, this game that we're looking at was actually the game between the FC Robo and, of course, a Dream Star last week and all. But at the end of the day, you have FC Robo, just having all the goods. But against Edo Queens might just be a very, very tough one for them today. Okay, that's the fixtures, just confirmation of what I read earlier. But then let's get to listen to the coach of Dream Star Ladies, Tajuddin Sharif, talking about what they need to do to actually arrest the slump. They've lost 3 games since he took charge of the team. And with this kind of scandalous loss, not really scandalous because, Dream Star happens to be a new team. They're coming into this is their second season. But FC Robo, of course, they have the experience and the players. And, of course, they tore them apart. But they want to see if they can arrest that starting on Thursday, 1 p.m. against Rivers Angels.
I wouldn't say that the methodology is confusing them because they've taken on a lot of instructions like a sponge. They're quite smart girls, and some of the sessions we're doing, it's not very different from what's been done before. It's just at a more intense level, and I wouldn't say that the tactics methodology is confusing them at all. Of course, when a new coach comes in, it can have two impacts: either that initial rush, or they're trying to get used to the new methods and new systems. But it has nothing to do with that. I think my biggest concern is the fact that in the 3 games that I've been in charge, we've not scored any goals. To lose a game is not a problem, but I think that we're lacking up front. We're lacking, that cutting edge. That we're getting chances, but we're just not taking them. And even the chances, they are not quite clear-cut. So I think for me, we need to focus on that. But also, if you're losing games, it means you're conceding goals. So we also need to work on our defense.
All right, well, he needs to work on his defense, and of course, they need to score goals. 3 games, losing all of them, no goals scored.
Yep.
And the previous coach, at least, he won her last game before he left. They just one win this season. Not good enough for them.
Yeah, before we go on a break, quickly, let's show what's going to happen today. Since I talked about it earlier, Caf Confederations Cup. Just see a confirmation of that. Probably going on a break, come back to talk some more about it. But let's quickly show that to you. Bay Elephants will be up against Ali Benghazi of Libya. South African side, Orlando Pirates will face Etoile du Sahel. So those are the fixtures for today in the Caf Confederations Cup. Remember, no Nigerian team has won this competition. Enyimba has won the Caf Champions League twice, yet to win this one. They've come close a couple of times, but we'll be hoping that this time is going to be different. So we need to go on a break right about now. When we return from that break, we'll listen to the captain of Enyimba, talk some more about this game, and of course, we'll go straight into the UEFA Champions League.
I think what we are looking at in this game tomorrow is just for us to get the 3 points, which is very important to us. We know it's the starting of the Confederations Cup group stage. We know how important this game is to us, and our focus is just to get the 3 points at the end of the game. Well, I don't think we are worried about the weather. This is not the first time we are playing under this kind of weather. I think we have been training over some time now in the weather. I think we are used to it. So I don't think the team is worried about the weather. Well, the camp is lively right now. I think the players are all prepared for this particular encounter. The players know how important it is to them, to their career, to the state, and even to their families.
Welcome back. It's time to bring you into all that we're doing on the show. We've talked about a lot of things. Caf Confederations Cup, we talked about tennis, and of course we're about to address the elephant in the room. That's the Super Eagles, the list. What do you feel about the list? Some players plays on standby. A lot of people saying so many different things, and it's very interesting. So get across to us on the show this morning. Send in your tweets. Let's know how you feel. Let's feel your pause on the show. Tweet at us @channels_sports. That's how you can be a part of the show this morning. And from this point, it's going to be football all the way. The Super Eagles, UEFA Champions League, and everything football for the rest of the show. All right, so that's it. Okay, let's move on now. And of course, our man, Bada Johnson, is with us, and we're going to continue with this conversation. Bada, good morning. It's nice to have you join us on the show today.
Good morning, Yemi. Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's just go straight into it. You've seen the list, and I just want you to sit back. I'm going to reel out the list. I know you've seen it, but I'm going to read it to you. When I'm done, you're going to give me your thoughts, and I'll try not to lead you in any direction. But let's see the list quickly for the sake of those who have not seen the list, and I wonder why a lot of people talking about the list. What's the problem? Special. Let's see the list. Francis is all first name on the list. Apoel Nicosia, that's where he does his job. John Noble, we're going to talk about him from Enyimba. Maduka Okoye, Sparta Rotterdam, 3 goalkeepers on that list. Defenders, Kenneth Omeru, Leon Balogun, Chidozie Awaziem, William Troost, Ekong Olaino, Jamilu Collins, Saidu Sanusi was in action yesterday with his club. Tyrone Eboué. Awesome. Those are the defenders. Midfielders, quickly. Ogene Karo Etebo, Wilfred Ndidi, Abdullahi Shehu, Joseph Aribo, Oluwasebilogo Ajayi. I thought it was a defender, but what do I know? Forwards, Ahmed Musa, Alex Iwobi, Sadiq Umar, Samuel Chukwueze, Victor Osimhen, Kelechi Iheanacho, Samuel Kalu, Moses Simon. These are the forwards on that list. And let's quickly
Standby list.
standby list. Yeah.
Daniel Akbe, you have a Henry Oyekuru and Peter Olayinka, and of course you have a Tari Murphy and Paul Onuachi. You also have Olise. That's a Michael Olise of Reading, and of course Adekunle Adeleke of Abia Warriors. And that's the defender. I know he's a very, very good defender.
Okay.
Okay. The question to the
All right. But any surprises on this list or any reservations with regards to this list?
Judging by antecedents, I think the big surprise is that there are not 3-4 new names from Europe, unknowns, as has been the practice or the tradition almost with the national team manager, General Raw. I personally have knocked him a lot in the past for just constantly chopping and changing because I feel like the national team, yes, you must always blood players, but you've got to do it, quite, should I say, stagic or more, call it, a little bit more measured. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. I thought that the constant, bringing in new players and all that was a disruption to the team. But this time he surprised me, to be honest. I think that a lot of the players are people that are, tested in at national team level, players who've been in the setup for quite a bit. I think it's representative of the best players that Nigeria has got in Europe, as well as representative of the players that have played in the team over a period, as well as a sprinkling of some new players. I particularly like the fact that he's called in a local-based goalkeeper as the third option ahead of Daniel Akpe. No disrespect to Akpe, I watch him play for his club in South Africa, and he does, quite well. But we can't continue to look away from options in the local league if we ever, want to give it some credibility. We should be able to see talent come through and be given a chance. Whether he plays or not is a different matter altogether, but at least he gets a chance to train with the team. And you never know, he might just, get to play. But overall, I think that I'm happy with the list. It's not about, who you call or who you don't. You never get to a point anywhere in the world where the national team manager releases a list of players, invited players, and you don't have divergent views or opinions. Certain persons will call up certain individuals who they think should be there. At the end of the day, it's the manager who takes responsibility for results. So he knows the players with which he stands the best chance of achieving the best results for Nigeria. So I won't be too critical, about this list. I would have been if I saw 4 or 5 players who have never played for Nigeria before, who maybe have never even stepped their foot in Nigeria before, get invited. This time that's not the case. And by and large, I think that I'm happy with the list. What remains to be seen is whether or not the players have enough time to train and have enough time to blend and have enough quality and hunger to go out there on the day to win matches for Nigeria.
Yeah, interesting. Before we leave this topic, we have one particular new name, Michael Olise. He's on standby, but this guy is highly rated, 19-year-old. Everyone has been talking about the fact that the French national team actually wants him. He played for the youth team and all that. Well, he's 19. Don't you think it would have been better if Kenneth Rowe put him on the main list so that maybe Nigeria can quickly cap him before he would change his mind to want to play for the French national team?
Well, I think that inviting a player or putting him on the professional list in the first place must have been done on the back of certain consultations. I don't think that if we still run the risk of losing him to the French national team, he would have, made the list in the first place. I don't think people just blindly or randomly just pick names of Nigerian players who may be eligible and put them, on the list without having some consultation, whether directly with the player or with the player's people. So if he doesn't get to play this time, I think he would be in the frame or in the plans of the national team manager to play for us at some point. And like you quite rightly said, he's young. He's got years ahead of him. I'm a believer of the principle that if players are good enough, they are old enough to play. So I don't think this is owing to his age. I think the manager, knows the reason why he's put him on the standby list, but I don't think we're running.
Okay.
They would have spoken to him and they would have established the fact that this guy's mind is with Nigeria, not with France.
All right, but I want a quick response to this. I can't ignore a tweet that I just see. 2, 3, 4 comments all about Paul Onuachu. Let me read this one. Ikena Okonkwo says, Paul Onuachu is the best Nigerian striker in Europe now and should be the first in the list. It is sad that the coach is even selecting a defender as a midfielder. But that's not part of my question. A lot of people saying, this guy is the best looking at goals per game. This guy is the best. How come he's on the standby list? And I don't know. You've answered the one that I wanted to ask you about Daniel Akpeyi, but maybe this one. Since you said you're satisfied with the list, does it worry you a little that the guy that appears to be scoring a lot of goals still gets to be on the standby list?
So these things don't exactly work in this way. If Paul hadn't played for Nigeria before, then maybe it would worry me. But I've seen him given a chance time and again and fail to take it. So I don't think it's owing so much to his current form. He's always had a decent form. He's been one of the most consistent players in Europe over the years. But every time he's played for the national team, bar 1 or 2 times, he hasn't exactly grabbed the opportunity. And that's why maybe the manager has the intention of giving him another chance in the future. But at this moment in time, he doesn't exactly trust him, maybe. So, I mean, he's not an unknown quantity. He's been in the setup for quite some time now. But in my mind, or to my mind, he hasn't exactly done himself a lot of favors. He hasn't covered himself in glory. And that's playing somewhere in the mind of Genoa, who probably, with this list has signaled the level of trust that he has in Paul.
Okay, right, let's leave the Super Eagles list. I mean, a lot of people definitely want to talk more about this because some are not really happy, especially the story of Ahmed Musa is also there. The tweet you're getting that he's been clubless for like 6 months. Why is he? He's the captain of the team. So let's just leave that.
That answers it. It's a pretty straightforward response.
Yeah. Okay, Champions League, of course. Last night, we saw results that were a bit shocking because no one I didn't expect FC Porto to get the better of Juventus. But Juventus on the 90th, first half, they were very poor. But second half, they woke up, but it was a little too late. And even when, a player was down, they were like, they couldn't even beat 10-man Porto at extra time. What happened to Juventus? Andre Pirlo, what did he do wrong? Or rather, right, yeah, what did he do wrong in that game? Because, the midfield, the attackers, I don't really know what happened in that game. What happened to Juventus last night?
It wasn't about what happened to Juventus last night. It's what happened to Juventus over 2 legs. I think they gave themselves some sort of trouble or problem by losing the first leg in the first place. Once they lost 2-1 away at Porto, I knew Porto smelled blood, smelled some vulnerability, which has accounted for Juventus crashing out at this stage in the last 2 seasons to Lyon and Ajax. And on home soil too, on away goals rule. So this is a familiar tale for Juventus these days. They lost the first leg, and then they knew that in the second leg, the worst way to start was to concede, and that's exactly what they did. They gave Porto a head start. Once Porto went 3-1 up on aggregate, Juventus needed to score and hope that for the rest of the tie, they could keep Porto quiet. And it seemed like they were on their way to achieving that because, as you said, first half, they didn't exactly do much. But the second half, they emerged a different team. And Federico Chiesa scored 2 goals. The Remy, I can't remember the name of the Iranian player now, who stupidly got sent off by getting 2 yellow cards in 2 minutes. So it went down to 10 against 11. And you could only see a Juventus win from that point. But credit to Porto, credit to their veteran Portuguese centre half, Pepe, who was monstrous. Over the 120 minutes of that game, he was, in my own opinion, the best player on the pitch. Special mention to his the central defensive partner Chancellor Mbemba, who many called the disaster when he was playing for Newcastle, but has re-engineered his game. He's a player reborn. And yesterday, those guys cleared everything that was thrown into that box. It was a masterclass in defending by those two, actually. And the goalkeeper must get a special mention as well for how well he played in goal. Porto defended with their lives. Game went into extra time. And then the first 14 minutes were kind of uneventful, but the last 5 minutes of extra time, full of drama, full of all kinds of unbelievable scenes. First off, it was the Portuguese team, which hadn't managed a shot on target up until that point, scoring from distance. Cristiano Ronaldo criminally turning his back to that free kick. And from that point on, Juventus needed 2 goals. They got one back from Rabiot, but it was a mountain too tall for them to climb. Yeah. And so Juventus go out again at the same stage. And you look at some of the mistakes or some of the decisions that the manager made, and you could see, they were consistent with his level in management. He's a young manager. Another more experienced manager could have done things a bit better, especially with the fact that I thought that they didn't stretch a 10-man team enough. They didn't ask. They had enough time to have created more goal-scoring opportunities. They didn't do that, and they're out.
Okay, all right. The other one, probably not going to spend too much time on it because I'm very sure a lot of people felt Dortmund on the strength of the first leg probably will qualify. But I want to get your thoughts. Dortmund, Sevilla, were you expecting a different outcome?
Not really. Like you said, Dortmund already gave themselves an opportunity, a big opportunity to be in the next round, winning the first leg in Spain. But again, yesterday they still had a lot to do. They scored, I think, 2 quick goals first. There was Haaland again, 4 goals over the 2 ties. But Sevilla did well to peg them back and almost won it late on. They had maybe another 2-3 minutes on the clock. The way the game swung in the last minute, maybe Sevilla could have grabbed that all-important goal that would have put them through on the way goals rule. But over the 2 legs, I thought Dortmund did very, very well. Haaland, the quickest player to 20 goals in the Champions League. And he's done it with 10 games less than the former record holder, Harry Kane. So his stock continues to rise. But I look at this Dortmund team, yes, full credit for the win over 2 legs, but they don't look to me like they can go any further than the next stage of the competition. In attack, they are brilliant. But Sevilla scored how many times? 3 times, I think, or 4 times over the 2 legs against them. You can't go too far in the competition with a defense like that.
All right.
Yeah, we have some fixture. We're going to talk about Haaland. I mean, how great is this guy? I mean, this is a player that anytime he's on the field of play, you can guarantee that, yes, he's going to be on the score sheets.
He's a goals machine, as some of the commentators called him yesterday. He's a one-man wrecking gang or crew. He just scores goals, all kinds, all manner. He's a phenomenon of some sort. He's big, he's strong, he's quick. He can finish with both feet. He's got almost everything you want in a striker. And I don't know how Dortmund are going to keep hold of him for next season. One of the big teams are going to have to splash the cash to get this player who is already proven, he's already world class at just 20 years old, and he's breaking records left, right, and center. And more so, he's doing it in a team that is not PSG or Barcelona or Bayern Munich. He's doing it in a modest team, and that's telling of his quality. So. All right. Haaland, one of the best players in world football already, and between him and Kylian Mbappe, a potential Ballon d'Or winner in the next 2-3 years.
All right, so Bada, you listen to Yoga Club, or you listen to one of the players, Tyler Adam from RB Leipzig. Your thoughts on the game? Liverpool with a 2-0 advantage. A lot of people feel probably done or dusted, but with what has been happening to them in the Premier League, I mean, you want to see the game first before you make your before you say that Liverpool will be through to the next round.
Ordinarily, Liverpool should be home and dry. The tie should be done and dusted. Maybe again, they should be thanking their stars that this one is not happening at Anfield, even though it's a home fixture, because Anfield has been, the horror place. 6 defeats at home in the league. So, but they go away to, I think, Budapest tonight, playing a home tie against the team that self-destruct in the first leg. I thought Leipzig can be better than they were in the first leg because they presented those two goals to Liverpool, Mane and Salah scoring from defensive howlers.